Hi, I'm Annie, and this case is going to make you question everything you think you know about what drives someone to kill. What happens when religious guilt, sexual repression, and easy access to firearms collide in the worst possible way? In March 2021, a 22-year-old man walked into 3 Atlanta spas and opened fire, leaving 8 people dead in his wake. But this isn't just another mass shooting story. This is about a young man who grew up in a strict religious household, who struggled with what his church called sexual sin, and who tried desperately to suppress his urges through prayer and therapy. Until one day, he decided the only way to eliminate his temptation was to eliminate the source. The most chilling part? Just hours before the shooting, he was just another customer at a local gun store, passing his background check with flying colors. What you're about to hear is a story of shame, secrets, and the devastating consequences when internal battles turn into external violence. This is the case of Robert Aaron Long and the Atlanta spa shootings. Full disclosure. This story contains discussions of violence, sexual addiction, and religious trauma. Be advised that some details may be disturbing to sensitive viewers. Let's begin. On March 16, 2021, a series of shootings shattered the peace of 3 Atlanta spas. 8 lives were lost that day, leaving a community in mourning and a nation searching for answers. Behind these horrific acts was a 22-year-old man named Robert Aaron Long. But this isn't just a story about violence. It's about the dark secrets that can consume a person from the inside out. Growing up in Woodstock, Georgia, Robert Long seemed like any other kid in the conservative suburbs. He attended church every Sunday, participated in youth groups, and kept his head down at school. But beneath that carefully constructed facade, a war was raging. In the Long household, certain topics were strictly forbidden. Sex, pornography, and anything deemed sinful by their Southern Baptist church was met with harsh judgment and shame. For young Robert, this created a perfect storm of repression and self-loathing that would eventually explode in the worst possible way. His parents, Robert and Diane Long, raised their son in a modest gray ranch house they purchased in 2002 for $127,000. From the outside, you'd never guess the pressure cooker of emotions building within those walls. In high school, Robert was known as the quiet, awkward kid who kept to himself. He found comfort in religious activities and hunting, 2 pursuits that would later take on darker significance. But it was after his 2017 graduation from Sequoia High School that the cracks began to show. College wasn't what Robert expected. After just 1 year at the University of North Georgia, he dropped out, directionless and struggling. Then came what seemed like salvation, his first real relationship. In late 2018, Robert met a girl from Chattanooga, Tennessee. For the first time in his life, he felt a connection that seemed stronger than his religious guilt. By January 2019, he made a decision that would change everything. Without warning, he packed his bags and moved 100 miles away to live with his girlfriend. His parents, desperate to maintain control, reported him as a runaway to local police. But at 19, Robert was legally an adult, free to make his own choices, even if they were mistakes. Freedom, however, came with its own price. Living with his girlfriend meant confronting the very sins his church had warned him about. The guilt began eating away at him, piece by piece. Within months, the relationship crumbled under the weight of his internal struggles. Defeated and ashamed, Robert returned home to Woodstock in mid-2019. But things would never be the same. He took a job at Maverick Tire, going through the motions of normal life. Inside, though, he was spiraling. By 2020, the isolation of the pandemic only amplified his darker thoughts. He sought help, attending 3 different treatment programs for what he called sex addiction. But these programs, steeped in religious shame, only seemed to make things worse. His parents watched helplessly as their son retreated further into himself. By early 2021, Robert had lost his job and rarely left his room. The good Christian boy was drowning in self-hatred and suicidal thoughts. Then came March 16, 2021, the day everything changed. Robert walked into a gun store and legally purchased a 9mm handgun. No red flags appeared in his background check. No warning signs were visible to the seller. Within hours, he would visit 3 different Atlanta area spas. First was Young's Asian Massage in Cherokee County. Then Gold Spa in Atlanta. Finally, Aromatherapy Spa. When the gunfire stopped, 8 people lay dead. 6 of them were women of Asian descent. The news spread quickly, sending shockwaves through Atlanta's Asian American community. Police launched a massive manhunt, but Robert wasn't trying to hide. His parents, seeing his photo on the news, did the unthinkable. They turned in their own son. Using his phone's location data, police tracked him heading south on Interstate 75. After a brief chase, Robert surrendered without resistance. In custody, he revealed the dark secrets that had been tormenting him. He claimed the spas represented a temptation he needed to eliminate. His religious guilt had twisted into something monstrous. The very places he visited to satisfy his urges became targets of his shame-fueled rage. Investigators discovered he'd been a regular customer at 2 of the spas he attacked. This wasn't random violence. It was deeply personal. Robert Aaron Long now faces multiple charges: felony murder, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, domestic terrorism. Murder, possession of a firearm during felony commission. The case sparked nationwide discussions about anti-Asian violence, about the intersection of religious extremism and mental health, about the hidden dangers of shame and repression. But for 8 families, these discussions came too late. Their loved ones became victims of one man's inability to reconcile his desires with his beliefs. Today, Atlanta's Asian American community remains on edge. Police patrols have increased around Asian-owned businesses. Security cameras watch over spa entrances. The physical wounds have healed, but the psychological scars remain. Robert Aaron Long will spend the rest of his life in prison, but his story serves as a warning about the devastating power of secrets, about what happens when shame and guilt go unchecked, about the thin line between personal demons and public violence. As we try to make sense of this tragedy, one question lingers. How many others are out there, fighting similar battles within themselves? How many more Robert Aaron Longs are quietly spiraling toward violence? The answers may be closer than we think. If you found this story compelling, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on this case. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated on more true crime stories like this one. This has been Dead Ends, True Crime Mysteries, bringing you the dark truth behind the headlines. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.